All right, what we're going to look at today is writing the equation of a line in three forms: point slope, slope intercept, and standard form. The point slope form equation of a line is y minus y1 equals m, which is slope, times the quantity of x minus x1. Now, sometimes you may see that this is y sub 2 and x sub 2. All it means is the first and second point. But this y sub 2 and x sub 2, the first y's and the first x in the equation, as you read left to right, are always going to stay in the equation. You're going to replace the y, the m, and the x1, all right? So the x, y1, m, and x1. So basically the only point you have and the slope are going to be replaced, and that would be the point slope form of an equation. All right, so as we know, this is x and this is y, so this is our x1 and our y1. All right, and this is our slope, which is -2 or -2 over 1. Okay, so we're going to take our point slope equation, y minus y1 equals slope m, x minus x1, and we are now going to literally replace the y1, m, and x1. Okay, so y minus the y1 is 1 in this case, equals our slope is -2. Our x is also 2, so x minus and 2. This is your point slope equation, and you are done. Okay? Now, if we want to convert that point slope equation to a slope intercept equation, it's very easy. So I always love to use the point slope equation because all I need is a point and a slope. And then all I do is plug it in, and I've got an equation of a line in one form, but it's very easy to manipulate and change to get it to the slope-intercept form. Now, slope-intercept is y equals mx plus b. So basically, all we have to do is solve for y. So since we have our point-slope form, and I'll rewrite it here, y minus 1 equals -2 times the quantity x minus 2, all we're going to do is solve for y. So in solving for y, we're going to have to distribute the -2 to both parts of our binomial here. So we keep y minus 1 equals -2 times x is -2x. -2 times a -2 again is a positive 4. And then all we have to do is add 1 to each side so that we're solving for y. So we're left with y on the left, which is what we want, equals -2x, and 4 plus 1 is 5, so positive 5. And this is our slope-intercept equation. So we went from point slope to slope-intercept. Point slope, we plug in the point, we plug in the slope, we are done. Okay, and then slope-intercept, we distribute, add or subtract over the number next to y, and we solve for y, and we have slope-intercept. Now the last type of equation, because there are three types of linear equations, is called the standard equation, standard form. The standard form of an equation is this, okay? ax plus by equals c. All this means is x and y have to be on the same side of the equation, and no fractions are allowed, and x term must be positive, okay? All right, so with that said, I'm going to take our slope-intercept equation that we just found, and we're going to move our x's. So we want to get x on same side as y. So the x term on the same side as y. And what we said is that the x term must be positive and no fractions in the equation. So let's get that x term over to the same side as y by adding it over. And when we do that, we're going to get 2x, so that's our ax, plus the y, because y is positive all the time, equals a positive 5, because these would cancel out. And that is our standard equation in the form of ax plus by equals c. And we are done. And in this case, we don't have any fractions, which are great, so we don't have to worry about getting rid of any fractions. Okay, so let's try one more that contains a fraction. And again, we're going to write the equation of a line through the given point with that slope, and the slope is a positive 7/3. Okay, so if you can't see it that well, the slope is a positive 7/3. And we're going to first write our point-slope equation, which is y minus y1 equals m times quantity x minus x1. We're going to substitute in the y1, the m, and the x1. All right, so y minus, now the y is a -9, so parentheses, equals, the slope is 7/3, x minus, and the x is a -3, so put that in parentheses. Now what you want to do is some cleanup, okay? No double signs. So y plus 9 equals 7/3, x plus 3, and this is your point-slope equation. All right, next, we're going to take that point-slope equation, I'll rewrite it here, and we're going to convert it to slope-intercept, which is y equals mx plus b. So by doing that, we're going to distribute that 7/3. Now, because it's a fraction, we're not going to freak about it, okay? And we're going to distribute it here. And if you notice, the numerator 3 that we're distributing to is the same as the denominator. So we get y plus 9 equals 7/3 times x is 7/3 x. 7/3 times 3/1, it becomes 21/3, and that's 7. So you can do that all on the side margins of your paper if you want. So that becomes plus 7. Now we want to get that 9 away from the y, so we can solve for y. So y equals 7/3 x, and 7 minus 9 is -2, so minus 2. And that's your slope-intercept equation. All right, next we will convert that into the standard equation. So let's write up our equation. Y equals 7/3x minus 2. And since we hate fractions a lot and we hate working with them, we're going to get rid of the fraction. And the way we do that is right away, we can do it before we move anything, is we will multiply all of the equation by the denominator. All right, the whole thing. So when you look here, the common denominator, this is y/1, 7/3, and 2/1 would be 3. So we're going to multiply both sides by 3. All right, so this becomes 3y. This becomes 21/3 again, which is 7. So 7x. And this becomes minus 6. So every term is multiplied by that 3. Now what we're going to do is going to get the x to the same side as the y. So we wind up with negative 7x plus 3y equals negative 6. And if you remember, we can't have fractions, so we just got rid of them. And the x term must be positive. In this case, it's negative. So all we do is we change all of the signs. So this becomes positive 7x minus 3y equals positive 6. And this is our standard equation. And that is how you use 1 point, 1 slope to write in point slope, manipulate to get into slope intercept, and then change it to get into standard equation.